Hi, I'm Charles.
And I'm Caroline. We got married in June and now we're sailing around the Atlantic Ocean for the year. Come join us as we document our journey.
In this episode, my cousin and her husband join us in Martinique. We spend a lovely week exploring the island, snorkeling, and exploring the interior. From there, Caroline and I set sail up to Guadeloupe, where we met my parents for another week. We've spent some time exploring the Saints Islands before heading up the west coast to Des. From there, we went up north to Antigua.
So we're just leaving Pitons, going to head north because we're going to sail to Martinique tomorrow, so we want to get as north as possible to give us a good setting off place. Charles just enjoying a little sundowner.
Cheers!
And there's a cruise ship that's just come in. Big old cruise ship. And that's Soufriere over there. Bye-bye, St. Lucia. We've been here a lot in the last couple of months, and now we're heading north. We're not planning to come back down. So let's see how we go. And it's onwards to Martinique. Okay, so we're just sailing northward to Martinique. Pretty strong winds, late teens to early 20s, but it's fairly on the nose. The waves are about 1 to 2 meters, but there's quite a decent wavelength, so it's not too choppy. It's quite pleasant, really.
Unfortunately, I didn't get much footage of the fish coming in, but it ended up being a king mackerel, which we ate the next day.
Bienvenue à Martinique.
So we have Sophie and Andrew on board this week. We arrived in Martinique this morning after quite a blustery passage over, but we did very well. Caroline did very well.
Charles caught a big old fish.
I was fishing the whole time, Caroline was sailing the whole time. We made it in pretty good order, and now Andrew's doing a sterling job. Captain Andrew. It's Captain Andrew to you, whilst Commodore Sophie is working out where we're going, and I'm the deckhand. We're just sailing along with just the Genoa, no mainsail, about 15 to 20 knots on a broad reach, so really flat water, so completely opposite to this morning, and extremely enjoyable sailing. We've done lots of upwind sailing recently, so this is glorious to have the wind behind us. We're going about 6 knots. That's the amazing sail.
Moving around Martinique quite quickly. So last night we left St Anne, where we picked up our new crew.
That's us.
and headed to Les Onze d'Ilet, where we woke up this morning. Very beautiful church. Went to the boulangerie. Andrew and Sophie went for a run. Charles did a bit of work, and then we popped round the corner to Grande Onze d'Ilet, similar name, very close by, and went to a lovely restaurant called Tissable, which was recommended by one of Sophie's colleagues, and it was delicious. And now there's no stopping us. We are around the corner again. We're going to check out Onze du Fort and Onze Noir and anchor in one of those tonight. Should be some good snorkeling. Once again, trying to beat the sun.
And avoid lobster balls.
And avoid lobster balls.
Carrot? Yeah.
So we've just picked up the car and we're off on our day trip around the island. I say around the island to as many places as we can get to. Got the kids in the back.
Kids.
2 more trolley loads of shopping. Loading up in the car. Shopping bag. Vicky and Andrew are leaving us. Bye! Be sad.
Sad night.
Very sad.
No more pina coladas.
So we've just dropped off Sophie and Andrew, and we are now sailing the 140 odd miles, no, 120 odd miles to Guadeloupe from Martinique, which we've had a lovely week or so exploring. Kara's at the helm. We've got a reef in the main and 2 reefs in the Genoa. The wind's a beam of us between 19 and 23 knots now, so very good wind, pretty flat water because of we're in the lee of Martinique, and overall extremely pleasant. So it's just gone 6 o'clock, sun's setting nicely over there. We've got the hydrovane working for the first time in a few weeks, for a couple of months actually, and we are heading up the coast of Martinique. We've got the big volcano here and the town of Saint-Pierre here. The wind's just picked up, so I'm just going to adjust the hydrovane. But we've got a reef in the main and full Genoa. Nice. Oh, we caught ourselves a mahi. Very good fighter, this fish. God, almost got away a couple of times.
Just filleting the old mahi.
So last night we had the hydrovane going, and at about, was it midnight, Karen? About midnight the wind died as we're going up the west coast of Dominica. So we switched the engine on, but the engine, which has been playing up to be fair over the last few days, pretty much stalled or was dying when we were in forward gear. We pretty much thought we're pretty sure it's a fuel issue, so we initially thought it was the fuel filters. So we opened up the fuel filters, but the pre-filter, which should always be really full with obviously diesel, was bone dry, not bone dry, only like an inch or so of fuel in it. Our gauges say a quarter left, so we're a bit surprised. So we filled up the tank with our emergency 20-litre jerry can. We changed the secondary filter on the engine, which meant getting everything out of the lazarette. So the saloon now is just a pit of carnage. But we managed to changed that filter about 2 AM last night, and we're just trying to get to, what's the harbour? Point de Bout. Yeah, we're going to Guadeloupe, and hopefully we'll switch the engine on. We've primed it, and we'll have enough fuel to get us from when we drop sails into the field dock. Hopefully when we fill up, I'll check the pre-filter and that will all have gone, that will be fully charged now, and our problems will be resolved. But a bit annoying, and it could have been a bit dangerous because we were without any form of propulsion, because obviously there was no wind and we couldn't use the motor, so we had to fix it quite urgently last night. But not too bad this morning. It's been quite a pleasant sail. We caught some mahi-mahi, which was really good fun actually. Quite a strong fighting fish. And the hydrovane is doing really well. This morning I'm in the lazarette. We are changing the engine oil. The other day we changed we replaced the fuel filter and the secondary filter, which is down here. This thing really is shared, but you can see carrier there, that's the passage berth, and I'm currently in the lazarette, as you can see. So we've just run the engine for a few minutes. It's quite warm already. It actually gets super hot. I don't know if that's good or not, if it's like too hot. But we're now going to drain the fuel from the engine oil from that yellow cap there. Then we're going to replace the filter, which is that thing there. So now we've finished taking out the oil, we need to change that filter down there with this one here. My dad's helping me, they've just arrived. So our electrician has come, or a electrician has come, has taken down the headlining, taken down the back panel, which is quite busy back here, to look for the problem with the autopilot. All sorts of fuses we've taken out. He's continuity tested, he's used less old parts to see if it works, and I've taken the headlining down in here and in there. This wasn't on before and this wasn't working either, but which is a different set of wires to what's currently in the autopilot display. So we went back to the autopilot compass or computer, which is here, and in there, in that grey where those two black wires are, is a fuse, and that had blown. So and then he changed it for where to put a direct wire on, which he's done now, and it now works. So in short, all those dramas were caused by a single fuse in the autopilot computer. So in future, that little grey box just lit up needs a very thin, tiny little thin fuse, 5 amps. That was the source of all our dramas. So we tore the boat apart looking for all the fuses, but I had no idea there was a fuse in here. Probably on reflection, a closer inspection on the manual would have told me, but now we know.
So we have left the marina, Badafour. We were there for a few days, sorting out the fuse, getting a new maxi fuse so the solar panels don't melt, and various other bits and bobs we've done, but we've now got out of the marina. We've come all of, I think it's 3 nautical miles, to Ilet-à-Cabrit. It's a little island there with a lighthouse on it and a little beach, and Gosier, the town, is just over here. So it's really super close, and we've got Charles's parents with us, just chilling out at the front there. Charles is just setting up the barbecue. It's nap time for the children. Thought it was a kingfish. It's just another stinky barracuda.
Off an adventure. and a souk. Do a bit of snorkeling. Yep, ready. Just leaving Ilet-à-Cabrit, dropped off my parents this morning, and now we are heading off to the west coast of Guadeloupe, up to Deschai over the next couple of days. Just passing a very smart super yacht with a helicopter on the back as well, so pretty large, very, very nice. My parents are up there somewhere hiring e-bikes, so hopefully they'll be able to see us. So, bye guys.
So we just left Ilet-à-Cabrit. We absolutely love it there, but we don't have time to stay there much longer if we want to go and explore the west coast of Guadeloupe. So we're heading up to anchor near Pigeon Island tonight, which is just near the Jacques Cousteau Marine Underwater Park. So that sounds like some excellent snorkeling, so we're really looking forward to that. Just arrived at Plage de Malinger, I think that's how you say it. We're anchoring here so that tomorrow we can go and dive at Pigeon Island.
So this morning we're off to Pigeon Island. There's some fantastic snorkeling to be done. I have the choke open. You hear the revs go up. Yeah. That's kind of how far you want the choke up. Now a bit of throttle out, and now pushing the choke. There we go. Now I'm going. Fiji Island, lovely water.
Went snorkeling just off this point here, I think it's Malinger Point. The corals were absolutely incredible. And on our way back we met a lovely French couple who are just hiring a boat for a week in Guadeloupe but hoping to spend a prolonged time in French Polynesia maybe next year. So we'll hopefully keep in contact with them. Would love to find out how French Polynesia goes. And now we're off sailing up to Deschai or Deschais, however you say it, because we have our antigen test first thing in the morning in order to get into Bermuda. Oh no, wrong. In order to get into Antigua. And there's Pigeon Island, which was such a great snorkel this morning. Very strong currents, but beautiful, so many fish. I think the most fish we've seen so far.
This morning we're leaving day A. And we're off to Antigua. Caroline is just pulling up all the chain.
We have some dolphins bidding us farewell. There they are. So we've got full sails out. A bit of engine assist.
We haven't had our main up fully for a while. It's good to see. Both of them are slightly luffing because we're going quite close into wind because there's a current setting us west. Got lots and lots of lines out. Had one massive bite at the beginning, but it bit me off and I lost my favourite lure. So we're upset about that.
Right, well, we're leaving France.
In the next episode, we meet our friends Sophie and Alex, where we spend a lovely week exploring Antigua. From there, we make an overnight sail to St. Martin, where we meet our other friends, Katie, Jess and Alex.